Most important person is the writer.
It starts here.
As a writer, there's I think two ways about it. One is you get a concept in your head and you develop it, and the second is if you're with someone and you'll cook up a project and then you'll just go from it together. So that you can either write it alone, and you can. You don't need to collaborate. It's basically how well you know your story. So it depends on that, because now say I'm someone who writes dramas, coming of age dramas and comedy dramas. So if I'm writing something in the zone of a thriller, then I would rather sit with someone who writes a thriller, so that even I can then we both can match on a wavelength, and then we can move about. If you want to really challenge yourself, then sit alone and you sit and go through it. But if you know that you got to do your story a little bit of honesty, then you got to suck it up and then sit with someone who.
We're all comparatively still very young, so in that sense, to make like decisions or who to collaborate with or stuff like that, they don't really come up really.
You learn a lot.
It doesn't come very often. So now when it comes, I'm just like, let's do it, because I just have a creative outlet that I want to just have. Like I just want to get it out. Like let's work on something creatively, because this is what I'm passionate about. So when work comes, I do it. Like I because I want to be a part of the environment. I love films. I genuinely love films. So when I love the whole thing, the whole process, from like the very irritating end of the editing when it's just not right or it's right, to the irritating parts, the lovely parts. You just want to be in that environment. No, like I said, right, there's never a right person for anything.
And
There's never a right person.
You can't really call someone else's process right or wrong.
Correct.
It's just subjective.
Yeah, it is very subjective.
You either trust and go along with it, or like don't do it.
It's kind of rhetorical, but how many projects do you think have been shelved that way? You're not going to find a Javed to a Salim every time, right?
Tomorrow things just might not happen, and we may creatively jam today and tomorrow we may just not jam at all. And because of like the whole thing, like sometimes these things just don't happen, and you have to keep that in mind, that is always possible. Like nothing over here that when we say that, oh, I have started a film and I'm going to start working on a film, got to keep that in mind, that there's a huge possibility that right until the very end the film may just not come out.
I mean, they wrote characters like Mogambo, Shaka, Gabbar, but then they did break up right at the end. Like, it's not all fairy tales, right? Like, two people for 10 years might grow together, but then it just takes like one incident or a second for them to like just see things differently. And till that happens, if you found someone, you ride your luck.
You have trust in what you're doing, you have faith in it, and if you truly believe in it, then you go ahead and you do what
Yeah, please be patient with your shit. So I come from a major film family. So my great grandfather was Mr. V. Shantaram. So he was really big in the Marathi film industry in the late 50s, early 60s, and so that way. And then my father was an actor in the industry. My mother is an actress in the industry. So I basically had my love for films. I actually wanted to become an actor, but nahi tha मेरे में वो बात. मतलब I can act, I can do my theatre, I can do all of that, but in front of the camera acting is a little difficult. So then I decided I wanted to actually become a director, but then I was like, why not then write my own films? Why be dependent on someone to write the stories I want to tell? So I just started writing my stories, and that's it.
I do not come from a film background at all. I was put into Trinity College of Drama, London, when I was very young because my sister liked it. And so I was pushed into that, like, go do something with your time, sort of. And I did that. I was, I think, 6 or 8, something like that. And straight up from then till the age of 16, that's all I did. I did theatre. I performed Shakespeare. I performed poetry, Roald Dahl, and everything, like straight up. And then I decided that I'm not a big person on education. I could not do institutionalized
Every
education.
creative person is not good high on education.
Institutionalized education was not for me. I struggled. I really struggled, and somehow I just made it out of school. And I told my father that, listen, dude, I can't do this, and I want to become a writer. I said, I want to become a writer. And my father said, what? How are you going to earn? And I said, I don't know. And he's like, you don't do all this writing bullshit. You can't study. You have to complete your education and get a degree and all of that stuff. So I said, okay, fine. So then I was watching something and I realized that, hey, I'm doing film, something on film, and I said, film is a good space. Writing is involved, and you get to stuff like that. Then I got into it. I went to a shoot and stuff, and I saw how things were happening, and I just fell madly in love with it. I was like, okay, so you are the person who has control over people and stories, and you get to write and create, and then you create a whole other world for another person to look at and probably relate to. I found that very interesting, and I was like, okay, I've got to get into this. So then at the age of 16, I got into films. I said, I want to become a film director and I want to become a writer. And then I got into
getting into films like an epiphany. It's like
it's just oh, that is possible. Huh? Is that so? And then I did it, and then I went to film school. I went to KC College, Film, Television and New Media Production. I went there and I got in. I started working with Kabir. At the age of 18, I started working. I worked on Kabir, one short film with Kabir called Dali. I did that with him, and I was an assistant director there, and I just found it wow, and I was mesmerized. I'm always mesmerized. Whenever I'm on a set, I'm mesmerized every single time. Just the beauty of the entire process is just wow. I love it. The passion comes out like that. So, in that sense, I feel like it's probably the greatest decision of my life if it goes right. I'm kind of struggling, but that's also fine.
Yeah, and ironically, being from a film family, my parents didn't want me to get into the industry.
Okay.
She still opposes me being in the industry because she knows how it works and all of that.
Netflix.
I mean, but Amazon will get there. Amazon's gonna take over Netflix. I'm pretty sure. Narcos only season 1 and 2. No 3, no 4. Breaking Bad. I studied Breaking Bad, so Breaking Bad for me is hands down top 1 show ever. It's my favorite show, and I think universally also, I think it's top 3. A lot of people have Breaking Bad in their top 3. Yeah.
It's a good show, Breaking Bad. Do you like it?
I ain't into conspiracy. I am into it, but if I think it's getting real, then it's getting creepy for me. So I don't.
Peaky. I'm not seeing much of Black Mirror, but whatever I did see of it, it's good. It's just not my cup.
Location shoot at that. For me.
I wanna travel. I just don't wanna travel. I do panda. I create the thing. It's fine.
Color.
Black.
Kumbhalagni Heights. It's on Prime. It's a Malayalam movie. It's about 3 brothers. So again, that's kind of my sort of zone coming of age. So please watch it. It's a comedy and it's fucking hilarious.
In the spirit of Boy Erased coming to Netflix right now, please watch Boy Erased. It's a very good film.
Comedy is the most effective
Comedy, I would say. It's hard to write. It's hard to execute, and it's hard to get the people involved to perform.
And what you find funny, other people
it's so hard to write something that you think universally will be funny. Firstly, where do you get the balls to do something like that? But if you do, and
The funnier is you making the fool of yourself in the process, thinking you're making other
yeah,
people laugh.
yeah.
That is
If
you.
you're ready to like just be like, hey, like jokes on me, then go for it.
Yeah.
Comedy.
No. I love both the genres, but I'm a big horror.
I am not a horror.
I'm a big horror. Unless it's a stoner comedy. Nah, I think find what's
Personal.
perfectly in the middle of it. Try doing your best of being.
It depends on like, what kind of a filmmaker you want to become.
Just take your
You want to make the money, you want to get the fame, or you want to just tell your story.
Yeah, do you. I don't think there's a question about commercial and social
First,
relevance.
both of those things are likely to happen and very unlikely to happen.
Not happen
And
also.
you may get one and lose it. You may get the other also and lose it. So it's a very like shifty. In the end, stay true to you and stay true to the story you want to tell.
Yeah, just be you. Just be you, and whatever comes to you.
Just make sure you're telling your story. That's all.
If you think you're funny, write comedy. If you think you're fucking emotional and you're sad all the time, write your romantic dramas. If you think you're a scary person, write your horror movies. If you like fucking with the government, please make political dramas. Please do. I don't have the guts to, but please make your movies.
I don't think I would ever go there. But
I will stand with you in protest though. 2-3 डंडा खा लेगा तुम लोग के साथ, पर बनाएगा नहीं. मेरा नाम नहीं
I
करेगा.
support. Go for a bite.
So I'm deep into documentaries.
Okay. I definitely do a bite.
And documentaries
But
deserve
the
a
right
lot more
way.
respect than they do. Right?
Like I do a biopic the right way.
Yeah.
Like stick to what's true.
Okay.
And documentaries need to get a lot more respect than they do. And for documentaries alone,
I would
just
agree.
Netflix.
I would agree with
For
that. Like,
documentaries alone,
I would agree. Like documentaries really don't get the
Get the
credit they
respect they
deserve, and I feel like they should get that credit.
Sure.
I feel like documentaries have a real nice way of staying true to.
It's raw, like it's right in
so
your face.
it's
right in your
really
face.
raw. Like there's no part of it where you can say that that's fabricated.
Yeah, like I can look right in the camera and
That's the
influence
point
the
of a
person
documentary,
watching.
right? If you fabricate it, then it's not right. Like if you're making a documentary, stay true to what you're making, and I find that I really like
Just
that.
imagine all the people who are influenced at the right, bro. Whoever's going to watch this documentary. Well, I had fun though. And I'm being interviewed for the first time, so I feel like a total celebrity.
This was pretty crazy.
Okay, so I think we'll end this.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.